Hello, and welcome to this edition of the Caldwell County Schools Profiles. I'm Don Phipps, the Superintendent of the Caldwell County Schools, and I'll be your host for today's show. The topic for today's Profile edition is the upcoming stage production of Beauty and the Beast, and I've invited guests to join us who are adults and students who are involved in the production. The Caldwell County Schools present Disney's classic Beauty and the Beast, the Broadway musical based on the Academy Award-winning film. The original Broadway production ran for more than 13 years and was nominated for 9 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. This entertaining show is being presented in our county, and I have with me 2 of our teachers who are closely involved in the show and a student who's a veteran performer. I'd like to welcome Tara Hatton, Brian Costin, and Hunter Curtis. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Tara, tell me a little bit about your role in terms of what you do at school and then also what you're doing with this performance.
Well, I am the theater teacher at West Caldwell High School. It's my 4th year there, and I am serving as artistic director for Beauty and the Beast. All 4 theater teachers in the county have worked closely together. Beth Woodard is our production manager, and Julia Young-Smith from Davenport is our costume coordinator. So from a teacher perspective, it's been a great experience to work together to collaborate in that way, because we don't often get to do that at our individual schools.
Okay, Brian?
Yes, my name is Brian Costin. I work at High Brighton High School. It's my 3rd year at High Brighton as a theater teacher. I used to work at West, actually, from 2008 to 2014. I'm an assistant director with Julia, and I was in charge of, and I'm sort of a swing person. I go where they need me. I work with advertising and fundraising, and so been very, very excited about the show. It's a lot of fun.
I understand that this is a district-wide production that involves students from many different schools and across different grade levels. Can you tell me a little bit more about who's involved and the different roles that are being played?
We have over 90 students, more than that if you count our technicians and musicians. And we have students from 1st grade through 12th grade. We try to hit every single school. We didn't quite get it this year, but we have a wide representation of Caldwell County schools in this production.
How often do we do district-wide productions?
Well, every 4 years. So Mr. Costin has done 1 before previously, and this is my 1st.
What are some of the other plays that we've done in the past?
The last production was Shrek. And the production before that was Willy Wonka. That's the one that I worked on.
And I think the first was Romeo and Juliet.
Yes, that's correct.
Compared to a production that involves a single school, how is this different when you're involving a community-wide, county-wide cast like we are?
Well, I think that one of the things that theater teaches is collaboration, teamwork, cooperation. And we don't often get that when we're at our individual schools. It's a one-person department heading up all elements of production. So it has been just so fulfilling as teachers, I think, that we have had this experience to work together the same way the students do. And they have had an opportunity to get to know one another from other schools, both the same grade level and different grade levels as well.
When you're making the decision about which play is going to be performed, or early stages, and you're making those kinds of decisions and having those conversations, how did you decide on Beauty and the Beast?
Well, we spent last year discussing what show we were going to do, and I think we sort of had in mind prior to that this show. If I'm not mistaken, you might speak to that more. It is a tough decision to make as far as what show to pick. But you want to pick something that's very popular, widely liked, and will draw a good audience in.
What are you most excited about or anticipating? The 2 of you coming from the kind of behind the scenes and leading the activities that are going on. What do you hope happens?
Well, this may sound cheesy, but it's the truth. My full heart moment is like seeing the students when it all comes together, and I know Mr. Costin would say this too,
yes.
When it all comes together on stage. When you see them in their element with all the different various production aspects added, that is our reward.
Absolutely.
That is the best part of the whole process by far.
And one of the questions that I'll ask our students is, after the program is over and the members of the audience go home, what kinds of conversations would you like them to have about what they saw and experienced that night?
I think we want them to walk away saying that they've seen a top quality production We want it to be as close to professional as it could be. I would say it is professional in almost every way, as far as the collaboration is concerned, as far as the students working. Their work ethic is amazing. It is a lot of time and effort that goes into it, and we want that to really show on stage, to really stand out.
Can you tell us a little bit about the type of support that you've received?
Oh my goodness, we have had support from many people, from you and the Ed Center staff, especially Libby Brown. We have the high school principals, David Caldwell, Chad Smith, Kelly Smith, and Craig Styron have all been excellent support and supporters of everything we've done. The Ed Foundation has helped us. Gwen Gibson has helped with costumes. She's been amazing. And we've also had help from FATS in the community. They helped us with fundraising. And Chick-fil-A has helped us. And of course, the kids and the parents, who have just been amazing.
We're very excited about it. You want to remind our viewers the dates and location of the shows?
Yes, our dates are April 4th. It's a Thursday at 7 p.m., Friday, April 5th at 7 p.m., and Saturday, April 6th at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. And we're very appreciative also of our guest stars. We have our high school principals appearing in each performance, as well as Dr. Phipps. So thank you very much for that.
My pleasure. What about ticket prices?
Tickets are $14 for adults and $9 for students K through college.
Very good. Thank you both for joining me.
Thank
I'd
you.
like to turn attention now to Hunter Curtis. Hunter is a third-year veteran performer.
This will be my third year performing in the countywide musical.
Okay. And you're playing the role of Monsieur Dark?
Correct.
Okay. For viewers who may not know what that role is or the character in the play, tell us a little bit about it.
He's the proprietor of the asylum, which Gaston goes to when he wants to find a way to get Belle to fall in love with him. So he tries to devise a plan to capture Belle's father with the help of Monsieur Dark and LeFou.
So what's your experience been like preparing and practicing and getting ready for the performance this year?
It's been different because for the past two previous countywide musicals, I was ensemble roles. And this is my first year as a principal role, so I have more lines to memorize, more songs to memorize. So that's definitely a different aspect of things than what I'm used to.
How long have you been working on the lines and the songs?
Since February is when we started.
A lot of work, a lot of preparation that goes into that.
Yes.
What's the experience like when you're working with students from other high schools and other elementary and middle schools for that matter?
There's definitely sort of almost an instant bond, like an instant family bond. I remember at some of the first rehearsals, Ms. Hatton talked about how you're not just High Brighton students or South College students or West College students, you're theater students and you're all one big family. So it's definitely been a great bonding experience with everyone in the cast.
Now, what grade are you in?
I'm a senior,
Senior at which school?
High Brighton High School.
Okay. What are the other plays that you've performed in?
The countywide, we did Shrek, and I was also in Willy Wonka. I've been involved with High Brighton's theater. We did The Crucible, which was probably one of my favorite shows that I've been in. And I've done outdoor theater in Valdez with From This Day Forward. I've been involved with Foothills Performing Arts with their shows there, so I'm trying to get my feet wet.
We've done multiple shows together in the community.
Right. Well, the same question I asked them, in terms of an audience member, when they go home the next day after they've seen the show, what do you want them to talk about?
I almost want them to feel jealous that they're not involved. I would like to see sort of a growing in the theater community of all ages, because there's a lot of different aspects in theater. Typically everyone just thinks it's on stage, but there's so much like backstage work, orchestra, tech. I really hope it sort of inspires more people to become involved.
And that was one of my final questions. An audience member is going to see the show, but they have no idea the amount of time and the effort and the energy and all the work that goes on behind the scenes. As an actor who sees that, tell us a little bit about what that experience is like.
It's very tiring and stressful, but with the end product, it's all of it's really worth it. One of the best feelings in theater is knowing you have the audience in your hands and you can make them laugh or cry at any given moment of time.
Very good. We're excited about it. I look forward to it. And I want to remind our viewers that the show dates are April the 4th and 5th, shows at 7 p.m., and then April the 6th, which is on a Saturday, we have shows at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. And in our next segment, we're going to invite 3 students to join us. Please come back and join us. Thank you. Welcome back. In this segment of Profiles, we have 3 students from the Caldwell County Schools who have joined me on the set. These students will be involved in the production of the Caldwell County Schools production of Beauty and the Beast. I have Justice Kirkpatrick, Zoe Shaw, and Emmanuel Manzano. Justice, I'd like to start with you. Tell us what school you're at and what grade you're in.
I go to South Caldwell High School, and I am in 10th grade. I'm a sophomore.
And what role are you playing in the play?
I'm Cogsworth. He's the maitre d' of the castle, so he kind of oversees the day-to-day operations of the entire castle.
Okay. What's your experience been like in preparation and getting ready?
Stressful, but very fun. You know, I enjoy doing it. It's been a wonderful time meeting all sorts of new people and just lots of fun, but also lots of stress.
Have you performed before?
Yes.
In which performances? What plays?
The last one that I did is I was a little part in Charlotte's Web. I've done some bigger stuff like main parts. I was the Tin Man in Wizard of Oz once. I've done all sorts of stuff. Those are some of my favorites, though.
And what's this one been like compared to the other programs and performances you've been in?
A lot more intense. I've had to worry more about singing and also dancing and more people and bigger stage and all sorts of stuff.
What's the experience been like when you think about having students from across the county and lots of different grade levels that are a part of what you're doing?
It's been very interesting meeting all the new people. I have definitely enjoyed it, and I love meeting the new people. It was great. And like Hunter said earlier, it was really an instant bond. We all got together along within the first rehearsal. We were all laughing together like a bunch of old friends at the first read-through. And so it's just been a great time getting to know everybody and really form wonderful friendships.
What would you want the audience to talk about after the show's over?
Just everything. The singing, the dancing, just how wonderful it looks, just how great this is. Like, wow, that is amazing. I wish I could have done that, or that's so wonderful. Or, wow, look at those lines, that dancing. Just be absolutely dumbfounded about what they're seeing.
Very good. Zoe, where are you from in grade level?
I go to South Caldwell High School and I'm a senior.
Okay. And the role you're playing?
I'm Mrs. Potts.
All right. What's the experience been like for you?
I guess really chaotic because I've done like a lot of shows in the past, but this is the first time that I've got like a main role. I've got like roles in the past where it's like speaking, but nothing like as big as this, and this is like a milestone for me, so I'm just like really enjoyed it.
Tell us a little bit about the character in the play for a viewer who may not be familiar with the play.
She's kind of like the mom character, I guess, the mom of everyone, just trying to be like, calm down guys, we can do this, we're gonna be ourselves again soon, like just trying to have hope for the future.
Have you been in other performances?
Oh yes, I've done many shows. I've done a lot of shows at Hickory Community Theater. I've done shows at the Hub. I did 2 shows at my school, elementary school, when I was little. It's maybe over 20 shows. It's just a lot.
How does this one compare in terms of your preparation and the program and the role that you're playing with the things that you've done in the past?
Well, some of the shows like in the past, I've had like ensemble roles where it's like it's still singing and it's still dancing, but never like I've never had like solos before, like so many lines. So it's a little bit more stressful trying to like learn everything and have stage presence and just be there.
What about the experience when we're talking about kind of a wide array of individuals that are involved? What's it like getting to know individuals in this role that you might not have known otherwise?
I love these guys so much. Like, I'm so glad that I've met all of you. Really. I never thought that I could like someone from another school because I thought we were all like competing against each other, but we're all really good friends.
Very good. Emmanuel?
My name is Emmanuel Manzano. I go to West Caldwell High School and I'm a senior.
Okay. And your role?
I'm Lumiere. I'm
Okay.
playing Lumiere.
All right. What about experiences in terms of being in other performances, plays, that type thing?
Well, when I was in my home country, I'm from the Dominican Republic, I started performing in theater when I was around 6 years old. But in my high school, it was not like that of a big thing. So I didn't get to perform a lot, but we'll still manage to do a few plays a year.
What types of plays that we might know about?
No, it was mostly like representations of Christians, parables, and stories. So we could perform for churches and stuff.
So what is the experience here in this particular production been like for you?
Well, the main difference is the support that we have from the different high schools, and everyone in the community is providing a constant support to the play, and that's something that I'm really grateful for.
What about the aspect of getting to work with and getting to know other students that you might not have had an opportunity to cross paths with?
I'm also really grateful to get to know such a complete and such a beautiful cast that we have, and a vast array of people, as you said, because like, as you say, if it wasn't because of this play, I wouldn't be able to have known these beautiful friends that I have.
And what would you want the audience members to talk about after the performance is over?
I would like the community to know what Caldwell County is capable of in terms of theater. And it's just not like, I want them to know what we're capable of. We're capable of act, we're capable of singing, we're capable of dancing, and we're capable of developing a professional theater performance.
Now, for each one of you, and any individual can answer this if you'd like, the type of work that goes on behind the scenes. As an audience member who would just see the play being performed, what types of things, other than practicing lines and practicing songs, are going on?
Well, there's a lot of psychological and mental preparation, because it's not only learning how to sing, it's not only learning the dancing, it's also learning who your character is. I mean, you gotta take the personality of the character into you in order to develop and in order to deliver a good incarnation of the character, because if you try to adapt the character to yourself, it's not going to work. You got to adapt yourself to the character.
That leads into my next question. How do you get into your character?
Well, at least for me, I have to do an accent because I am an English person. So I've worked on that a bunch, and sometimes I kind of just sit there and like talk like an English person for 5 minutes or something and get into character, and then we'll go and I'll have to talk like this, and so I kind of just have to talk like an English person a bunch. So just kind of mentally sitting and preparing yourself and thinking about your lines, reading them over and over and over and over again, and taking each one and figuring out, you know, how can I be this character that I've created well.
And in our next segment, we're going to have 3 more students come up. But in the ending of this segment, why don't you show us or go through a few lines for us?
Okay.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. She's like, hello.
So this scene is basically Belle getting inside of the castle for the first time, and Lumiere and Cocteau see her for the first time, but they still don't want to blow their cover and sort of saying, so we're just basically like, I think I go, it's a girl. Yes, of course I can see it's a girl. It's a girl!
Very good. We're so excited to be able to watch you all perform and just see the talent of our students. Again, we'll have 3 more students in our next segment, and we hope you'll join us back. Thank you. Welcome back to Profiles. In this final segment, we have 3 students again that are students in the Caldwell County Schools that have joined me up on the set. And these students are playing lead roles in our upcoming production of Beauty and the Beast. Just a reminder that our show performance dates will be April the 4th and 5th at 7 p.m. and April the 6th at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. And joining me on the stage are Joe Watson, Kira Andrews, and Jonathan Riddle. Joe, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a junior at High Brighton, and this is one of my first theatrical performances. I'm just so grateful that I managed to get it, and I've always been part of the chorus and never really found the time, but I made time because it seemed like such a great opportunity.
And what role are you playing?
I am the Beast.
And how have you gotten into that character? We asked that question in an earlier segment, but I want you all to think about that as well, the character that you're playing. How do you get into that character?
One thing that really helps for my role is, since the Beast is supposed to be so large, so hideous, so deformed, is the costume itself. The claws, the matted fur, the horns, all that, and just trying to focus on the emotions he experiences, because he's so angry, so forlorn, so lost. It's just trying to feel those emotions and relate it to something in your life that's made you feel that way.
As you've grown and evolved into playing a larger role in a play like this, what's your experience like in this production compared to what it's been like in previous ones?
It's different because I've only done one other real production, which was with the chorus this year, and it was a magical feast where I was the king. So I wasn't the main role by far, and I was kind of a supporting character, so I had lines, but it's nothing compared to this. The scale is just so much higher. It's been so much fun getting to know these people, because you have to have bonds with the people around you to be able to really perform well. You've got to understand them to understand how to feed off their energy. Especially like I have to know what she's going to do, since we are the two lead roles and have so much where it's like we're feeding off of each other in energy. It's getting to know each other and just having that bond of being good friends that really helps.
What has the experience been like knowing that you're working with students from other schools that you might not have known prior to being a part of the production?
It's been great. Like, even though several of the people in the show go to High Brighton, I never knew them before auditions or the show. So it's been very great, and especially getting to meet like Justice, who you had on earlier, and Emmanuel, because since he's not even from America, I would have never had the chance to meet him, and it's just such a blessing to get to know these guys because they're so great.
And those literally can be lifelong bonds that you all have. Kira, tell us about yourself.
I'm Kira. I'm a 9th grader at High Brighton, and this is also one of my first theatrical productions.
Okay, and the role you're playing?
I'm playing Belle.
Okay. Tell us about that.
It's been really exciting. Whenever I found out, I was absolutely I was very startled. I was excited, and I was ready to start practice, even though it wasn't going to start for about another month.
What other types of activities or performances have you been involved in?
I've been taking voice lessons since about 4th grade, and I love to play the piano. In 5th grade, we had a production, and I played Cruella de Vil, and that was probably the biggest role I've ever done besides this.
What motivated you to audition for this role?
I just heard about it from friends, and I was like, that's something I want to do. And I love Disney and the princess movies, and I was like, I want to be a princess. So auditioned,
And now you are.
Yep, here we are.
How do you get into character?
It's been a little bit difficult, but I'm just trying to imagine what she's feeling and what she wants. What does she want to do, and what are her desires and dreams?
Okay. Jonathan?
I'm Jonathan. I go to the early college. I've been acting since I was a freshman. I'm a senior now.
And the role is what?
I'm Gaston.
Okay.
I'm the bad guy. If you weren't familiar with the show, it's been a really fun part to play. He's very flamboyant. He's very outgoing. He's very headstrong. He's stubborn, and he's also very one-dimensional for the most part. He's mean, but he also just likes the center of attention, and so I've really enjoyed working with all the elements to keep that attitude.
How do you get into that character?
It's not. I never really had much of a struggle with it, to be honest. I've played a lot of bad guy roles, and so just trying to think what he would do at all times, even on stage, when you're backstage, just thinking about what that character would do, and you just try to stick with it as best you can.
Now, what other roles have you played? You mentioned being in other plays.
So I've done quite a few plays, not too many I don't think a lot of people would be familiar with. A show that I really enjoyed was the one I did last semester. It was called Edgar Allan Poe, Master of the Macaw, and basically it was a bunch of different Edgar Allan Poe poems and stories that he wrote into a play, and I had the honor, I guess, would be to play the madman in Telltale Heart. And so I got to really get into being a scary guy, and it was a lot of fun.
This question is for any of the three of you. When you think about just the production and what goes into it, from the audition pieces to costumes and makeup, and when you actually go out on the stage, what is that like? Particularly from the perspective of being a person with a lead role and the amount of work and the lines and things like that you have to remember.
It's crazy. I've seen productions and I've been in one, but to see all the work go through and all the choreographers and all the practice days and staying late, it's just crazy to see it all come together because it's finally getting down to the grit.
I mean, it's just, there's so many people involved, and especially for me, there's been a lot of self-frustration when I've messed something up. I get mad at myself. And so trying not to let that affect others, because everyone affects each other's energy, and just working together, it's just such a great thing that when it finally comes showtime, I think we will enjoy it just as much as the audience will.
I'd say it's a really intense experience, especially for main actors. We really have to dip our fingers into a lot of stuff. Like, you know, you interact with everyone more so than people would think. Joseph and Kira, they're a little bit more hands-on with everything. I mean, I've got a little touch into it, but they really, you know, they have scenes with almost everyone, and they really get to mess around, but they're connected with everyone.
To give our viewers just a little bit of perspective, how much time have you spent just involved in the preparation and now the practice, and you're getting ready for the dress rehearsals? What would a typical week or a day in a week look like for you?
That depends on the week, because like we started in January with like 4 times a week having an hour and a half rehearsal. But since as we've gotten closer and closer, it's turned into staying some nights till 6 or 7, and as we go before the show, some nights maybe 10 o'clock. Just staying, running the show, working together, and it depends on whether we're working choreography where you go home exhausted and fall asleep, or you've been singing and so your voice is dead the next day. It all just depends on what you've been doing, just how much of a strain it takes on you.
Yeah. Okay.
How much work at home?
A bunch.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
When I first got the soundtrack CD, I would just put it in my car, and I'd listen to it all the time until it became like clockwork to memorize stuff like that. But then outside of that, you know, you put hours into learning your lines.
Yeah.
What do you want the audience reaction to be?
I hope they're surprised, and I hope they're just
Surprised in what way?
like about how it all, like, just all the costumes and everything just coming together, you know.
And like, I recently went to New York for the first time and got to witness Broadway shows like Wicked, and just, I want them to feel what I felt walking away from those shows, just the magic of it all and being so entranced and just wishing it could continue. Having had such a good time just watching the show that they felt they were a part of it, and we're just so blessed, I guess, to be there.
Well, we're very excited anticipating the performances. I want to remind our viewers that the show dates are April the 4th and 5th at 7 p.m. and April the 6th. We have 2 shows. That will be at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. We hope you'll come out and support our students and the work that's being done. Thank you.